Okay, so we're back with another MANvFAT Wales podcast, and I'm joined by. I'm really excited for this, actually. Really, really excited. Not just because I know you. It's boiling mine, didn't it? We're recording this in heatwave. Not just because I know you, but I know exactly. I know exactly that this is going to be a superb thing for the guys I coach in Newport, because my league has been going. I think we're in the 11th week now as we're recording. Um, we're very young in terms of us as a league. So it's good to get a perspective from Cardiff, because I believe, when did you start? Sorry, I haven't let you introduce yourself. So who are you, first of all? I know who you are.
So obviously, well, for everyone in Cardiff will know who I am because I'm part of furniture now. But yeah, my name's Dave Quinn. I've been with Cardiff since before Cardiff got started. I was one of the people to really give Cardiff that final push to get it up and going. And we're in season 7, I want to say now. Could be wrong on that one. It's been that long since we were first getting going that it's kind of all just blurred into one. But yeah, like I say, I've been part of furniture for quite a while now in Cardiff, and it's nice to see that effect is sort of spreading to other leagues in South Wales now, which is really, really, really fun to see and be part of as well.
Yeah, because as we're recording this today, we heard the news. I know you knew slightly prior because Ben told you, but we heard the news about one of our Cardiff top guy, Ben, who's just taken over taking over the Swansea League, which is going to be absolutely epic. I cannot wait for that. I really can't wait to see him spread his wings. I've moved down to Newport. You're still there at Cardiff. So am I right in saying, Dave, you were? I know you were pushing the forum before Cardiff started and basically nagging MANvFAT and saying, listen, this needs to get going, this needs to get going. Were you one of the day ones? Were you there the first ever session?
Yeah, the first ever session I was there at Grange Gardens. Turned up with my boots, thinking, what the hell is about to happen here? Thinking, I don't know whether this is going to be right for me. Panicking, and almost got back in the car to my wife and said, I don't know if I'm going to do this. And yeah, like I say, 7 seasons later, as soon as it gets to that time on a Thursday, I'm sat there full kitted and still got that same appetite and buzz for it and love for it that I still do from season 1. It's still there on the journey and still going down that road. But yeah, still got a love for it.
Yeah, well, it was. None of us really knew what to expect when we first started, and the focus of this today is about your captaincy, because that started pretty early on, didn't it? Am I wrong in saying that? Were you captain very early on?
Yeah. So I was captain for the Orange team that we named Citrus Alba, season 1. That carried through season 2 and season 3, I want to say, until we had a bit of a rejig of the teams. And then I moved to the Pinky Whites, which was a big step for me at the time, to leave the Oranges. But I just wanted to try something new out. Obviously, going from being one of the people to be giving the support for the team to sort of being on the receiving end, which was a big step for me because it was being a little bit more selfish for myself. And it was a big thing. And then obviously going into this season now, I've joined the Red Hot Chubby Peppers in Cardiff, and I took over again the captaincy, and again being back into that supporting role, which again I'm loving, and this is a really good thing to be part of.
Yeah, would you say being a captain at MANvFAT isn't something you should maybe perpetuate and be consistently that captain? Because you've just kind of alluded to it, the fact that you said, it was a selfish move to not be captain, to ask, say, listen, I want you to do it to me now. Everything I'm doing for the players.
I think so, yeah, because I think it's something that we regularly discuss as well, like in the team of. Even in between, because we started with the Reds this season, we started as a team the tail end of last year, and obviously we had the second lockdown, and that kind of put a pause on everything. And when we came back and resumed, we still had that conversation again because we'd been supporting each other through the lockdown, and we've not got like football to sort of fall back on. But we wanted to make sure we were still being accountable and providing support where we could. But then I wanted to be like, well, if we're starting up again, do we want a fresh face? And do you guys feel like anyone else wants to step up and sort of be that guy to give that support? Or are you happy with how things are? And do we want to just go into this season, our first full season together, and try and see what happens and we'll carry on? And do you want to oust me, or are we happy with how things are? And the guys were overall like quite positive, and they said they didn't want to boot me out just yet. But it's good because guys can obviously take different things and use that, and it's nice then to give that support. But like I said, there comes a time where you want to be on that receiving end and not think, I've got to think about how everyone else has done this week, make sure that everyone else is okay. I want someone to kind of be on that receiving end for me. I want someone to be thinking, are you all right this week, mate? Is there anything I can help you with? Like more than everyone else does as a team. And that's what I found in the time when, like I say, between teams where I was on the Pinks in Cardiff. And that was the big difference for me. That's probably the biggest sustained weight loss I've had in my journey, was while on that team, because we built such a great team spirit. We won the weight loss league, and it was done as a team, and it was being able to be like, oh, captain, I don't know, I'm struggling this week. I don't know if I'm going to get a loss, and having that reassurance of it's fine, don't worry about it. Just you know what you're doing. Carry on. If it's a touch up on a first day, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. And then it just takes that pressure off, and then I think nature happens, and you end up getting the loss anyway because you're taking the steps that you know work.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see it from a different side rather than being a captain from day one.
Yeah. So I'm going to take you back to day one because obviously you've had two experiences now of being elected captain.
Yeah.
How was it both times? What actually happened to make you be captain of the Oranges and then captain of the Reds?
So with the Oranges, we were very much like a bunch of awkward school kids. We'd kind of just been thrust into this WhatsApp group. A load of random numbers. No one knew anyone. I think we'd seen a couple of faces at the initial registration session at Cardiff City Stadium. And it was a case of, oh, well, we've had a message through. We need to pick a captain and a vice captain to go into this other chat. And we kind of had the idea that we weren't going to pick a captain and a vice captain. We were going to pick a weight loss captain and a football captain. So, like, the weight loss captain would be there to support everyone. The football captain would pick, like, who's going to start up front and who's going to start in net. So then we sort of said who wants to do what, and obviously no one put their names forward. And then we sort of had natural conversations, and we sort of said, well, I think it was one of our current player facilitators, Ian, sort of said, look, just off what we've been saying so far, I think Quinny's been really supportive of getting us all started and getting rid of those first day nerves and stuff. I think he'd be really good for weight loss captain, and Tom would be really good for football captain because he's a coach naturally. It's just a natural fit, and then that's kind of where we progressed from there. And yeah, it kind of went from there. The sort of footballing side of it fell apart. We didn't really go with that. we weren't the most blessed on the pitch, but on the scales, we were probably one of the best teams to beat. And it kind of just evolved from there. But with the Reds, it was a case of it was a lot of new players come together and a lot of inexperienced players. And we had a vote for it, and we said who wants to go up for it. And I just said, look, lads, I've done it before, and I've got quite a lot of experience. I'm just chucked my name into the hat, and we just had a vote, and the guys voted for it. So that's how that one came about. And obviously, it was a huge honor and a huge pleasure each time to obviously get that nomination, because from playing football for most of my life, being named a captain is always a big pleasure and a huge honor.
So,
And it's something that I have to take very seriously sometimes. And
well, it's funny you should say that, because I've known you now for 4 calendar years. Oh, well over 3 years I've known you, and I've never ever heard you explain the two captains situation and the Oranges. And I've got a lot of respect for the Oranges, because the first year ever, you said you weren't blessed on the pitch. You weren't a terrible team. You were as bad as us in the Reds, because I played for the Reds initially. And there was 2 leagues, wasn't there? There was Blacks, there was Blues and Greens, and they were both good teams. And then there was, us, the also rans. But what you guys definitely did is you cracked how to play MANvFAT straight away. You knew about Scales goals. I think it was Ian Cole's on the very last match. I think you lost by 2 and he scored 3, and no one really knew. He knew he'd hit his 5%, but no one announced it.
Yeah.
And, you knew what you were doing in terms of that. And am I right in saying, or am I misremembering, you won the cup without winning a single match?
Yeah, the cup, I think the closest we come was we drew the second game on the pitch thanks to a last-minute goal. But apart from that, we got hammered each game, including the final. And as we come off the pitch for the final, like I had to miss the final because I was up in Manchester to see my family, I think. And it was one of those where we obviously knew going into each week what we needed to do weight-wise, but we also kind of knew who was at what stage of the season. So like you say, with 5s and 10% and stuff, and we because we were normally getting beat on the pitch, we kind of learned the value very, very quickly of just how important those weight goals were. And I think it was maybe week 2 or 3, we kind of just sat after a game and we were like, hang on a minute, we've just been beaten 5-0 on the pitch, but we just won 10-5. So come on, we've got this momentum now. Let's carry on. And we ended up winning the first season by 1 goal, but it was because purely down to the weight goals in that final. And it was, no one expected it. And as soon as we came off that pitch, everyone was congratulating the green team and kind of being like, that was great. How do you feel like winning the cup and stuff? And then as soon as like half an hour later, when those final results came out, it was, don't ever count us out, because like we had a plan. We kind of knew we were going to get a pasting, but everyone kind of knew that if they were just followed the plan, that it was in the bag anyway. And yeah, we were all about, not really about the football for us, like you say, and what we got not ingrained, but taught to us quite early from our staff by Roger was the football at the end of the week. That's just your treat for a good week, and that's a motto that we lived by, and that's something that I still try to pass on at the end for now. When like we get beat week in, week out, is don't focus on the football. That is purely just your treat at the end of the week. It's your look at your scales results. That's where you want to be proud and see those numbers. As long as you're losing weight and your scales goals are going up, that's the win you want.
It's hard. That's hard to do mentally, but and I'll be completely honest with you. In that first season, I think the Oranges were far better than us, because we generally didn't talk about the scales goals. We didn't know. I don't think we really knew.
Yeah.
If you managed to catch when Roger was visiting, Roger Smith, absolute legend of MANvFAT, when he was visiting, he would give you these nuggets of wisdom. But if you didn't manage to catch him, you didn't really know.
Yeah.
And it got better and better and better as we went through, and we've got so many experienced captains now who are so good. And I think our Cardiff captains chat is just, if you added it up, I think in that captain's chat, there's 20 plus years of MANvFAT experience in there. Plus, obviously, Roger's in there still. If you want to ask him a question, which is wonderful to have. So I think that's a really useful thing to be. So the captain's got to know the ins and outs of the Scales League, haven't they? To know how to motivate your team, because you can come off and say, listen, guys, it was only by one. We've still got that, and know in your head we got those goals. So next question, I want to talk you through. I want you to talk me through. So what are the benefits? What are the benefits of being a captain? When you're elected captain, what do you get out of it?
So for me, I think first of all, it's the kind of selfish thing of like the pride of being the one of the faces to represent your team. I think that was a big motivator for me, especially starting off in MANvFAT. There was a lot of anxiety when I first started, so that helped. But it's being that, for me, it's being that person that can be there for advice. I like to make sure to try and keep the guys motivated, especially if a couple of people are struggling. I like to try and make sure that I'd like to know that I can pick up on when the guys are struggling, especially on a Thursday. If people have weighed in and it's not exactly what they wanted, I make sure I'm the first person there to put an arm around him and be like, it's done now. Don't worry about it. This week's done. We'll have our game and then we'll smash out in this next week. And I like to think that, especially for my team now, that I can be the guy that if they don't feel comfortable sharing it in like the public forum, like our team chats, that they can sort of message me anytime if they need advice or if they just want to get something off the chest. And that does happen sometimes, and I just think sometimes, especially if I'm not feeling it or I'm having a bit of a bad day, and I just think, oh, why do I bother? Like, I've had a bad week myself, and sometimes just a message like that, and just think, do you know what? This is why I'm here, because we're a team, and we're here as a team. We lose as a team, and we do it all as a team. Because that's the main thing for me. Really, is the benefits. So it's just to be that's main support. So your team are going through it on their own. Like I say, if they've got people have like gripes and stuff that they don't feel comfortable going to like the coach and stuff for, I don't shy for him being like, look, we're not happy with this. I don't mind taking one on the chin if it's with another player or another captain. I'll defend my team to the ends of the earth if I have to, and always put them first. So I want to make sure that they're having the best MANvFAT experience and MANvFAT journey that they can, so that when they reach the end of it, they're in a healthier, happier position than when they first joined. And hopefully once they finish, they won't come back, because that's the ultimate aim. Is I've got that much respect and love for him that I don't want to see him again.
Yeah.
Unless it's in a social setting. That's what we're here for.
So, onto what's the hardest bit about being a captain? And I noticed you didn't say in the benefits of being a captain, knowing that you're never going to be subbed off. So I know there's a few captains who like the benefit of not being subbed off. So what's the hardest bit?
I think the hardest part sometimes is keeping that motivation. Like I say, sometimes when you're going through a particularly bad patch, it's hard to try and stay positive and keep everyone else motivated. I'm particularly lucky at the minute in the Reds in that my vice captain, Chris Isles, is probably one of the best people. He should be captain in his own team, to be fair, because the motivation and everything that he brings to not just the team but to myself, he's very, very quick to spot when I'm struggling and when I need a boost. But for me, that's probably the hardest, is if I've had a bad week, it's not letting it show and not letting it carry on, especially if other people have had a bad week as well. I want to make sure that I can deal with that on my own when I get home. I've got other people I can speak to, and we pick each other up. But I'd rather make sure that I'm picking other people up and not dragging them down and stuff like that. That's what I find most difficult. Because sometimes I just want to be like, just leave me alone. I've not had a good week. I've just stood on the scales. It's shown that I'm up. I feel like I've let the team down. I don't want to be here right now. I just want to go home and
Yeah.
cry into a beer or something. But it's that keeping everyone motivated. But like I say, with the support network that we have and everything that the community that we have in Cardiff, it makes it a lot easier. It's very, very
Yeah.
rare that it gets like that.
As a captain as well, you've got to know who hasn't got the support network. Because, like you said, I know your lovely wife. You can go home, talk to her. If she won't listen,
Yeah,
the cat will listen. But you know,
that's
if someone's got that support network around them, and not just once you've been with MANvFAT as long as you have, there's so many people from so many teams that have played with you and will pick you up. Um,
yeah,
I know I think there's one guy I would say on your team that I would worry sometimes if he left that maybe he wouldn't speak
yeah,
to someone about his weight until the next week, and I don't think that's a very good thing. So you've got to be mindful of that as a captain, haven't you? You've got to know your people.
yeah, yeah, and it's knowing as well when people want the support as well, because it can be all good and well of being straight in there and oh, you all right, mate? All right. But sometimes some people don't want that, and it's a case of just know, just know. Doors always open, phone's always open. You know where we are, and it's getting that balance. And again, sometimes that can be a challenge. Is overstepping the mark and thinking I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have just left you alone and let you do your own thing.
Yeah, and as a captain, it's fine to make mistakes. It's not a paid role that everyone is really worried about it. It's one of those things that you're doing out of love, like you said. You're doing it to support others, and I think you do it in an absolutely fantastic way. So I've got one more question here, and I've got a few quick fire questions. That's all right, Dave.
Yeah,
Um, uh, I want you to share with us a memory, a team success, something that as a captain, you can always draw back on, and that gives you kind of the oxygen to carry on. What is it for you?
um, I mean, obviously we've touched on it, but it would the most recently it would be um, with the Reds. It would be getting our first points on the scales this season. A couple of weeks ago, it's been a challenging season for us. Obviously, we're all coming out of lockdown. We're all still trying to readjust to everything opening up again, getting back into the swing of things. But we were talking during the week, and it was a case of we just made sure we motivated everyone, and to come away with just a point on the scales was a big thing for us because we've lost every game on and off the pitch this season up until that point. And as soon as we come off, like the first thing I said to the lads was I was really proud of them, and it was a really big deal because it could have been quite easy for us to just let it slide again. It turned into another loss, and um, yeah, that was credit to the team, to be fair, because everyone knuckled down that week. Some incredible losses that week, and everyone really put a shift in, and it was really good to see. But obviously, again, selfishly, the cup winning season one
Yeah,
is very, very special in my heart. Just that initial thing from game week one of turning the results around on the scales, and then being like game week two, oh, we've done it again. Game week, oh, hang on a minute, lads. I could go all the way here. Could go all the way here, lads. Come on, what can we do here? Who's on what? Right, okay, right. This is what we're doing. Right, okay. So we need this, we need that. You need so much for 5. You need so much rights. You need right. But what if this happens? What if that happens? It's fine. Right, it's fine, lads. Don't worry. And then that being up in Manchester and literally being glued to my phone,
yeah,
refreshing the website constantly. And then I think I honestly I remember being in my living room at my mum's, And when it come through, I genuinely think I just threw my phone in the air. I think I was screaming, running around. And I was like, oh, I can't believe we've done it. And I think it was a case, and I think I straight into WhatsApp, and I was like, guys, what? Oh, God, we've done it. And even now, like the trophy still sits in my hallway. I walk past it every day, and it's just even if I have bad days, it's just something to look at, and it's a nice motivation thing to keep going.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was
the
a
wins,
team effort as well.
Yeah, the wins in terms of, I've seen some teams win 10-0. You do forget them. You forget the wins, but you'll never forget the Scales losses. The Scales losses as a team, they're really powerful. All right, on to my quickfire questions, Quinny. Is that all right? Five quickfire questions. You've got to be straight away. If you want to give me a reason, you can do. You don't have to though. Okay. You get the choice. You talk or text. What do you do?
Text.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same.
I'm not. I don't answer my phone. I'm notorious for it. One of my friends hates me for doing it.
Yeah. Well, you also play. We both played with Chris Isles, and he's currently your vice captain. He is someone that, if you phone him, he will not pick up, and he will text you straight back saying, "What was it you wanted? What was it you wanted?"
I don't bother. I'd never bother phoning him. I'll just text him. Mostly abuse.
And he deserves it. He deserves every bit of it.
Yeah,
okay. Nickname. What's your nickname?
Well, everyone calls me Quinny, and I also picked up Quinny Esther.
Yeah.
At some point, yeah.
I think that was that on the back of your pink shirt, Quinny Esther?
No, that was Quinn Kong. Because when I used to score, I used to do the chest bump, and then I did it once after a session. I ended up with bruises, so I don't do it anymore.
Quinn Kong.
That's what I play.
Okay. Favorite band? Don't choose one. I know you like your bands.
Oh, Catfish and the Bottlemen.
Nice. Okay. This is a like a superhero question. You get to choose invisibility or super strength. What do you choose?
Invisibility.
Why invisibility?
You get up to more mischief with that.
Okay, so it's purely a mischief thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. And final one. If you were an ice cream flavor, which flavor would you be?
I would be chocolate. Boring chocolate.
Oh, I don't think chocolate's boring. Chocolate's my absolute favorite, mate.
That's my go-to.
Yeah. Well, chocolate is one of my favorites, and you are my favorite. Thank you ever so much
there you go.
For sharing with the podcast what it takes to be a captain. You've kind of explained in so much detail how much it's all about supporting people. It's all about making sure you're there for them, but it's also finding time for yourself as well, and getting either a second captain, a co-captain, or a vice captain there to pick you up as well. So I think a lot of people watching this will realise what it takes to be a captain a lot more because of what you shared. So thank you so much, mate.
Oh, no, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you for having me, and obviously hope that some people actually enjoy it.
They will. Thanks for everything you've done, mate.
Oh, no problem, mate. Thank you again.